Every home has a unique story to tell. A story of what was before and what came after. And the story from B to A is the most exciting one of all. We're about to see if these architects, builders and owners can transform these home dreams into reality. This is Before and After. What do you do with an old home that just really isn't working out in today's modern life? Watch as we renovate and extend this charming little cottage and bring it back into the 21st century. We follow a build that needs to respect the heritage front but open up to a modern space at the back. So we're calling this episode Business Up Front, Party in the Back. Sorry, wrong slide. Yep, that's the one. Sydney, Australia, beautiful, vibrant, one of the greatest cities in the world and very photogenic. And Mossman is right about here. A premium Sydney suburb, Mossman boasts breathtaking views, attractive amenities and gorgeous historic homes. Stephen Doreen recently bought this circa 1920s Federation-style home and the time has come to reinvigorate its historic soul. The house lies within a conservation area and the facade must remain intact to honour the council's heritage overlay. But to meet the brief of the owner's need for modern living, a delicate demolition had to occur. Now, someone has previously given this a go at the back, but unlike the charming facade, this extension did not possess any romantic features worth preserving. The 80s are over. Now the new frames are up, the back is really starting to take shape. And up front, the developments are looking very interesting indeed. I catch up with owners Stephen Doreen to find out a little bit more. We've got you at a very interesting stage of construction right now. Talk us through your brief.
Yeah, basically we got an architect from the Archi Centre and he was great. We basically said we wanted a 3-bedroom house with a 2-car garage, and that was the basic brief.
It's not a big house though, is it, Steve?
No, and that's one of the issues with this area. Small houses close to shops, but we have two teenage children and we needed to give them the space but also access to transport. And so one of the key features of this house was 3 small bedrooms that wouldn't fit teenagers has been changed into 3 larger bedrooms through the addition upstairs.
The most difficult thing for you must be that the fact that this is a conservation area.
Yes, the difficulty is you cannot knock the house down, but it's actually worked out really well. The facade provides an interesting transition to the back of the house, which is all modern.
So you're going to keep the charm of the ye olde cottage out the front,
yes,
but then inside the home is going to be significantly different. And you're also faced with another dilemma of garaging. How are you overcoming that?
The issue in Mossman, in this part of Mossman, is that there is very little off-street parking, and the on-street parking is really complicated. There are a lot of cars in the area.
Cue the cars going by right now. It is a very congested area.
Yes.
But you've come up with quite a neat little device happening in the
That's
garage,
correct.
haven't you?
The council approval enabled us to put 2 cars inside the house while still retaining the front facade.
2 cars? In here? This can only mean one thing. We're going vertical. Architect David Baillie has come up with an ingenious design to park 2 cars in here with room at the front for 1 more. This will definitely be something to keep an eye on.
And that was one of the key things I think that the architect came up with, because we had kind of 2 houses at the time that we were looking at.
Right.
And we took David around to one house and said, okay, so how much would it cost to actually, develop that house? And then when we came to this house, David went, now, here's a house that we can do something with. Well, it's lovely and quiet out the back here, isn't it? And you can certainly see all the north sun.
It is, it's very pretty. It's a very nice way to spend the summer afternoon in shade, and then in winter with the sun shining through.
You told me before that in the past, when you were bringing up your kids, you enjoyed the fact that there was a pool and they were always in the pool. There's not a pool happening here.
No, and the savings are enormous. Flow is very important though. The objective here is to have flow all the way through from the front to the back, and so you're naturally drawn to this area at the back, and we think that's a focal point of the house.
After the break, we find out more about this flow's tipping point, the archway.
Never forget the day when I came in and the young builder was sort of there going, "Oh, Doreen, it's going to fall down." I went, "Oh, no, mate, don't let it fall down."
We meet the guys behind the tools.
Oh, the archway was never falling down. Who told you that?
And reveal the finished house. We're in Mossman, Sydney, to watch the renovation and extension of this 1920s Federation-style house. Things are progressing nicely so far. The modern addition at the back is taking shape, and the front facade is being looked after with cotton gloves. We catch up with the man behind the design, architect David Baillie, to find out the ins and outs of working within a heritage conservation area. There are a number of hoops to jump through when you're dealing with a conservation area and a council which is very strict on their guidelines. How's that experience been?
Yeah, they are strict on the guidelines, but they are very clear in what the guidelines are. So we had to work within those. We did have to work with heritage architects. We had to work not only with the heritage architect to be able to convince him that what we wanted to do was good, but also was in keeping with everything around us. I guess the thing with this design is that the heritage is at the front, but it is also a very modern building. So to be able to do the modern and progress from the conservation at the front, which the council wants, to the modern at the back, which is what the client wants. And this building does that very well. We have been blessed with, in the building, an archway, and it's almost, that's the change within the design. So you're going from the conservation front through the archway, past the stairs to this beautiful open space at the back.
And talk me through the vision of this home. What was the outlining brief?
Look, the big thing that they wanted was they wanted something modern. They wanted something with space. Particularly in this area, it's something that you don't always have, because very often the buildings here are either old and very much boxy and very compartmentalised.
That's what this site is.
Which it was.
Yeah.
They wanted something open, modern, and when you're having that with a conservation building, both of those need to marry together.
A quick check of David's creds will show that here is an architect with a huge passion for energy efficiency, and this project has been carefully considered with that in mind.
With the energy efficiency side of the building, we wanted to make sure that the living spaces had a northern aspect as much as we could.
Pointing this way, yeah.
That's right. So to be able to get the sun in during the winter time, but keeping the sun out during the summertime. So regulating the building so that it performs on its own without too much active heating and active cooling.
The cladding on the walls, very interesting stuff.
The cladding performs as a thermal insulation in itself, so the cladding actually does that performing for it. So you do need that insulation in the building to stop heat from escaping in winter and heat getting in during summer. So we use that material to be able to perform that.
You've got a nice smile on your face. You're enjoying this project, aren't you?
I am indeed. No, we have very good clients. The clients were very good and very clear in their brief. And that is an architect's dream, to be able to have a clear brief so that you'll be able to design precisely what they want.
We check in with the man in charge of executing David's design, builder Neil Ellipse. Talk us through the materials that you've used, and particularly the cladding, something that I'm quite impressed with.
Yeah, it's the first time for me. We're using a polystyrene cladding. It's a 75mm thick polystyrene sheet. That gets screwed on the outside of the frame, and then it gets an acrylic render over the top of that. By the time you've finished, it looks exactly like a cement rendered wall, much lighter framing, much
No
lighter
brickwork.
foundation, no brickwork, exactly, and your R values are higher than they would be for normal brickwork.
Which really lines up perfectly with what David the architect wants, which is those thermal qualities.
That's right, yeah, he's big on his thermal qualities and being as environmental as he can with his structures, so yeah.
Now, mate, the most important thing about this job is the conservation or the heritage situation that it has. Let's have a chat about the archway. How's that all working out?
Oh, the archway's going to stay. It's the one remaining heritage feature on the inside of the house.
Does it have to have any touching up? Does a plasterer have to come in? And
Yeah, it most definitely does.
Okay.
Yeah, it's had a lot of it's had a hard life, that archway.
What's been the most challenging part of this project?
The size of the block.
Small.
Small block. We wanted to reuse existing bricks, so we maintained the finish of the place.
Yep.
So we had 3,500, 4,000 bricks to clean and then try and store on site.
Yep.
Wasn't a lot of room, so we've been moving pallet loads of bricks around the place.
And of course, where we're standing right now is the garage.
Yeah, the 2-car garage. Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Work that
this.
one out.
This is great. Okay, so this is a German engineered device. It's
Yep.
coming in, it's going to sit on the sides,
Yep.
and it will lift the bottom car to the top,
To the ceiling height, yeah.
and then you'll be able to drive another car under.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing about the garage is going to be the front door, which is has got to match the window on the other side of the house.
And when it opens up and the cars come out, it's going to look like something out of the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, mate, exactly. Nailed it. That was the first thing we said when the suggestion was pointed out.
After the break, we see the house really taking shape. And later, we take a tour of the finished home. Let's get a sneak peek across town at another project we've been following.
The problem was that the concrete deck was bowing, and which actually is a great problem with aesthetically, and it's actually a great problem with safety-wise as well, because it's over a habitable room. So we gave him a solution with Sky-On Secure flooring. From the traditional compressed fiber cement sheet, we have made it lighter, we have made it stronger, and we have made it easier to install.
Look out for the unveiling of this finished house in a future episode. Back to Mossman, and we catch up with architect David Baillie.
Well, originally in this part of the site, we had a carport, and the carport is now gone, and we've reinstated this section of the house to look just like it was built in the first place. When the garage door is on, what you'll see is that the garage door actually has built into it a window, because this was originally a bedroom with a window in it. The archway is an important part of the house because that, in many ways, marks the transition between the old house and the new. So once you walk through the archway, you'll actually have the new house, as it were. One of the difficulties with houses of the period was that they were very compartmentalised. We wanted to open it right up. But not just the house, but also what was beyond. And in order to do that, we had doors that folded right back into a cavity. And so you had that open space, not only within the space itself, but out beyond.
BWG, we make a range of the AWS products. So we have the Vantage Residential Series, the Magnum, which is semi-commercial, and we also have the Elevate Commercial Series. So behind me we have the 704 Elevate sliding door, and here it is a cavity slider, so all the panels stuck away nicely into the walls. We also have some louvers upstairs. They're the 525 louvers, and they use the breezeway components. So that allows the 152mm blades to be opened fully with the fly screen, which gives you, maximum ventilation. It's exciting because, we've got brand new aluminium products out the back of the house and the heritage listed front of the house, and it just shows that all these different things can go together quite nicely. We can work with each architect and councils to make sure that our glass meets the energy requirements. So glass is a really useful tool. It can reduce sound, it can also reduce solar glare, and it can also reduce heat gain and loss. If you go top of the line glass, that can really help with your electricity bills and can help keep the house cool in the summer and warm in the winter.
Neil and his team have been very busy. The floors are mostly in, and the feature staircase is now getting some love.
We've got all of our black butt flooring in this back area now, starting from the stair line here all the way out. The boys are out onto the back decks next, and we're trying to take the whole floor right out. There'll be a sandstone coping around it, but it's going to be the same floor outside as in. If you want some really good film, I've got some film of my plumber playing a shovel to Jimi Hendrix, if you want. He'll never forgive me.
You know what they say, all work and no play? After the break, we can finally reveal the finished house in all its glory. Well, the day is finally here. They say first impressions count, and the side of this delicately restored facade is simply beautiful. The tessellated tiles, the tuck point bricks. This restoration has brought new life to this heritage architecture. I can't wait to see what lies beyond. I catch up with Steve and Doreen for a tour of the finished home.
Well, Steve and Doreen, congratulations. It is certainly all done.
Thank you.
How was the experience?
Really good. A very pleasant experience. We've done it a couple of times before, but the builder made it really special.
He really has. Neil's done a wonderful job. All the levels on the floor and the finer detail is really exquisite. Let's start at the front of the house, and particularly with the garage. It's a fantastic garage with a very, very intricate machine in there.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the car, Steve.
The design of the house didn't accommodate a two-car garage, and as you can see out on the street, there's not much parking. And for I want to say, modern family, we've got two older children, you need more than two cars. And so to fit two cars in a garage and still have room to park on the street required us to think vertically and not laterally.
Open space with an older house was a challenge. The Federation style houses tend to be very boxy, so they tend to be compartmentalised throughout the house, exactly the opposite to what they wanted. But they liked the house and the feel of the house, so that's one of the reasons why they bought it. So when they came to approach me, that was the question is, can we have both? I said, look, yes, you can, and that's what we've been able to do here.
The joining of the old and the new is something that I'm really impressed by, especially with the, the cornice which has stayed there.
Yes, a couple of times it nearly fell down. Never forget the day when I came in and the young builder was sort of there going, oh, Doreen, it's going to fall down. I went, oh, no, mate, don't let it fall down. Just don't worry, I'll fix it.
Oh, the archway was never falling down. Who told you that? Doreen was right, there was some movement in the arch. The reason there was movement in the arch was because as part of the build, we had to remove the blade walls that were supporting the outward thrust of that arch. And we were relying on the roof timbers above to tie the whole thing together while we did that, which they did pretty successfully, with the exception of about 2 millimetres of movement. And now that it's all rendered and finished and re-supported, it's all good as gold.
The old part of the house is really important, the character and sense of place that gives you for the house. The new part of the house is nothing without the old part. The new part is important and brings the house into the 21st century, but the old part of the house gives the whole place character.
Coming down into the main living area, this is fantastic. There's so much space here, and it really is a family space, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a room similar to this in our previous place that we built, and it's important that you get the dimensions right and you get the height right. And one of the key things about this place is, as you can see, we come down nearly 1 metre to this room, which gives us that extra height, because a lot of these extensions you end up feeling like they're too low. So Neil's done a fantastic job in getting the space right, and David did a terrific job in getting the design of the staircase that gives us the light that you can see behind you, and yet still a very large room with only one door in it.
Well, the staircase itself needed to be light and airy too, just to be able to have the ability to be able to see through it. If you have something solid, it just simply creates a barrier. And so what you do is you walk through and you've got this barrier in front of you. We didn't want that. We wanted to be able to have as much transition through the house as we could.
How's the kitchen working out?
Fantastic.
Yeah, love it. Love the kitchen.
Lots of storage,
yeah.
lots of open space, lots of bench.
Yep.
The 5 key things for kitchen design is choosing the layout, choosing your bench tops. The kitchen sink is obviously a very important part of the fit out, and also the kitchen tap and appliances. Everyone's looking for really good appliances these days. Kitchen layout, I think the important thing is being as functional as possible, having your sink opposite your fridge so you can go from your sink to your fridge and back again, having your dishwasher close to your sink as well so you can load dishes straight into your dishwasher. Number 2, countertops. The more cost effective option is a laminate finish. Laminate Industries have a lot of colours that you can choose from. Then if you want to go a little bit more upmarket, you could do the SS stone or the Caesar stone option. Number 3, kitchen sinks. Undermounts, top mounts. Undermounts seem to be more popular and they sit under the stone. Just gives that kitchen bench a much more streamer, clean line look. Number 4, the kitchen mixer. Very important. You really have to think about what it is that you're looking for in a kitchen mixer, whether you want to pull out spray, whether you want a gooseneck. Number 5, appliances. Lots of companies have different qualities in their appliances, from gas hot plates to induction cookers. The induction hot plates are very popular at the moment as well. Easy to clean, heat up the pots very quickly.
Upstairs, are the kids happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Great big bedroom, great big desk.
When all their stuff gets off the floor, they go, gee, they're big rooms.
The best part about coming back at this stage of the job is that the clients have been in for a couple of months and the house is now lived in, it's a home. You know, I can build a house, but I can't make it into a home. Doreen's moved in with Steve, they've put their pictures up, they've got their collages of the family history on the staircase wall, and I walk in and all of a sudden people are living in something that I spent 9 months building, and that just gives you a really good buzz. It's the best part of my job.
Well, guys, thank you so much for allowing us to come along on this big ride. Congratulations. It is a truly beautiful home and it is complete.
Thank you.
That must be a great relief for you.
No, we're very, very happy. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Tom.
Steve.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Doreen.
Thank you.
It's great to see a house of this age and condition be not only given new life, but through great design be brought into the 21st century. An outstanding example of honouring the past and at the same time looking forward to the future. This is now a modern home, perfect for our modern way of living.